Joining us now is OjyOkpe, with stories trending around the world. Hello, Jerex. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Good morning.
Good
Yellow.
morning.
How are you this
I'm very well, thank you. I love how you're contrasting. So the dark colors and I'm in the sandwich in the middle.
Yeah.
With the bright yellow.
You're doing well, Ayo. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Well, let's begin what's trending. The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, on Tuesday promised to conquer poverty in Nigeria if elected into office in 2023. The APC flag bearer made the promise during the town hall meeting of the South-South region in Calabar. Tinubu noted that there is a need for the country to remain united and urged citizens to stop the destruction of what God has deposited in the country to enhance its greatness.
I'm a forward four-wheel driver. I don't want to go backwards. Progressive driving Nigeria forward is the only reason why I'm running. No other person is running like me. They have no fact. They have no experience. They have no track record. They have no degree of honesty. They can't keep their promises. They resort to insults and abuses. To detract? No. It doesn't catch me. To divert? You say no. I'm from Tinubu Square. To wrestle? I'm a wrestler, but I don't wrestle with the pig. What is my concern is development of Nigeria. Moving Nigeria forward is a task that must be done. Anger will not solve it. Division will not solve it. Breaking apart will not solve it. It is only togetherness. Hunger cannot conquer us. Let's put together and make great wealth of God-given space, land of opportunity.
Well, in the meantime, Nigerians have reacted to a video showing the APC flag bearer, along with his running mate, Kashim Shetima, interacting with a person living with disability. Well, in the video, Tinubu was seen handing a stash of the newly redesigned Naira notes to the man. Let's take a look before we take some reactions. Well, let's take some reactions. This is from Uncle Isaiah, who wrote, "I am sorry for ordinary Nigerians. The new currency that is available on bank ATMs is on bullion van in the hand of those who will buy vote 2023. Well, author and activist Rana Mockery wrote, "That video of Tinubu sharing money is just why the APC is against the new ATM limits. MFLA has spoiled their market. For that, they are prepared to use any means to deal with him. Just imagine sharing money so openly and brazenly. Money politics must die in 2023. Well, IK wrote, "I've watched the video. That's not sharing of money for purposes of election. The guy to whom the money was given bent close to Tinubu for some time, apparently whispering something to Tinubu before Tinubu collected the money from his oddly and handed it to the guy." I don't know what your thoughts are, Aya, but I mean, I watched that video. If we can pull up that video, it did appear that, you know, they did have an interaction.
Yes.
And I mean, I don't know what this one man can do to help Tinubu's election bid at this point. It did appear that he was helping the man out. in that video.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for a very balanced in terms of the tweets that were read, because on one side, some people had accused him of using money, vote buying, which we've talked about a number of times, whilst others said this was just the magnanimous Asiwaju giving help and lending support to the disabled. To be fair, until we ascertain the identity of the man in the video, we cannot make a conclusion. However, we can still speak about the fact that he had new Naira notes. Unfortunately, and we talked about this yesterday, that I haven't had the new. I was only able to see it because Dr. Bati brought it to work. Please give to me. I want to see it. So
I went to the bank.
In the face of it not being available, it's great that Asiwaju has access, obviously, to the new Naira notes, and we see that it's still a part of the political process. What I'd like to ask, though, is that if he's vying for president of Nigeria and we're looking at a cashless society, perhaps wouldn't a transfer have worked better? If we're looking to mop up the cash in circulation, just on the side, in terms of being seen, leaders being held accountable and being seen to obey, policies and the rule of law. Very important. That he didn't do anything illegal until we find out what actually transpired. However, moving away from that to his promises, and I'd like to just go through, just to fact check, if I could, his statement at his rally in Calabar, where he said that they have no past in terms of his opponents. I hope he wasn't speaking to the two other front runners, Mr. Peter Obi and Waziri, because Atiku and Mr. Peter Obi obviously have political experiences. One has served, amongst other things, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The other has served as governor of Anambra State. They have no experience, no track record, no integrity. And, when you're looking at it, it goes back to that saying that when you point one finger, four others are pointing back at you. How can Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu say that someone has no past when there's still a contention as to his correct state of origin, as to even his name, even the school he went to, with pictures of his, the picture that was used for his, his biography was the picture of a former governor of Cross River State. These things are still under contention, and you're there at a political rally questioning that of others. And he says no integrity, they resort to insults and abuses, so many things. And I thought he could have actually made his point in terms of what he would do without making all these accusations, because actually in saying so he brings judgment upon himself, and unfortunately he doesn't come out stellar, because he has had cases around that. But going back to poverty and what he said he would do, he talked about agriculture, he talked about the fact that he was going to work with just bringing Nigerians out of poverty. This has been consistent in his messaging in terms of a renewed hope that he hopes to fight poverty. Nigeria can be better. The only thing I would say is that he is still running under the platform of the APC, which is currently in government. And unfortunately, this administration under the APC has put Nigerians, 133 million Nigerians in poverty. So it would be great to hear what he's planning to do differently, and if he's standing away from the ideology of his party, bearing in mind finally that he said he's going to build, he has said before that he will build on the successes of President Muhammadu Buhari.
Dr. Bati.
Well, I saw that tweet by Reno Omokri saying Tebu Shaker. But in this particular case, he didn't succeed in shaking any table. Because from what the video showed us, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave some money to that gentleman. Maximum, that money may not even be up to 10,000 naira. Okay? And we don't know the context in which that happened. But it's an elderly man.
Yes.
He's giving money to a younger person. It's not as if he was distributing money to voters. So this video does not show that he was physically distributing money. But of course, that Reno Omokri, will throw anything at the opposition because he has his own political interest. But this one, the table did not shake.
Standing still.
Another point is to be made is that, at that event, you said a disabled person, right? A person living with disability, which is instructive.
Yes,
that
I thought so
some
too.
of these political parties are beginning to involve persons living with disability. One of the major issues in this campaign is that persons living with disability, they have consistently said, look, in the spirit of inclusion and in line with Section 42 of the 1999 Constitution, they themselves, their citizens, they have a stake in this election, and that every effort must be made to involve them in the campaign process and to also ensure that with appointments and opportunities, they are not excluded. So that part of it, I think, should be underlined. Now, third point is a town hall meeting in Calabar. That was in Calabar. The point he made, which I think was the big point that stood out, is that he will fight poverty. Well, of course, that must be the number one task for anybody who becomes president of Nigeria in 2023. What we are told is that 133 million people, right, are living below the poverty line in Nigeria. 133 million out of 200 million. That's 63.5. Some other reports claim, in fact, that 90% of the Nigerian population, we seem to be wallowing in abject poverty. And he said that has to be addressed. Yes, it's a major issue, but that he will do so through the deployment of human and material resources. And this country is blessed. There is no part of Nigeria that you go to that you won't find natural resources, apart from oil that, we have in the Niger Delta, bitumen, tin, coal, all kinds of resources, But the problem we have, as Chinua Achebe pointed out in his book, The Trouble with Nigeria, is leadership. And that is why whoever wants to lead Nigeria must start by addressing the issue of poverty. And he said he's going to pay particular attention to education.
Yeah.
In a country where 20 million children are out of school, yes, of course, education needs to be addressed. And it's only education that can move people out of poverty. It's an existing model established since 1955 through the example of the Western region led by the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo. And it's when you educate people that you empower them.
Yes.
That you reduce the level of ignorance and criminality in the country. And he knows what he's saying in that regard. After all, he once led the Lagos State. Lagos State at a point used to be called an educationally disadvantaged state. But until Jakonde came, he revolutionized the education sector. And since then, every governor, even since 1999, even Tinubu himself, Fashola, everybody, up till the present governor, they've taken education seriously. And, Lagos is no longer that state where they say, oh, those people, the only thing they know how to do is to listen to high life, to hold parties on Monday afternoons on the streets of Ebute Metta. I don't see those Monday afternoon parties anymore.
Right.
So he has a point there. Okay. And then, of course, agriculture. He wants to fight to promote agriculture. He wants to turn Calabar to a tourism hub.
Which is so
that's
important.
Fine.
That's really
because, our city there, is a very good location for tourism. And then, of course, he says he wants to move Nigeria forward.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, we want Nigeria to be moved forward.
Yes.
But as for language, he says he doesn't want to be distracted by insults. So it's very good that the presidential candidate of the APC is making that point. Because all the political parties and their spokespersons, they are guilty. And I keep saying it here, that sections 91, 92, 93 of the Electoral Act 2022 frowns at the use of abuse, insults, and indecorous language in this campaign process. And fines are even stipulated, but nobody has enforced it. Fines for political parties, fines for candidates. But all the politicians are guilty. But now that Bola Ahmed Tinubu says he doesn't believe in the politics of insults, I hope that others will listen, and particularly his own spokespersons, who seem to be doing battle on a daily basis and leaving the issues with other spokespersons and other stakeholders.
Well said, Dr. Abati. We shall take another story. A cross-section of Nigerians have reacted to the resignation of the Director General of the Labour Party's Campaign Council, Dr. Doyin Okupe, from his position. The development follows his conviction for breaching the Money Laundering Act by a federal high court sitting in Abuja on Monday. Okupe announced his resignation in a letter addressed to the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi on Tuesday, stating that he has invested too much in the Peter Obi campaign to allow personal travails to become a source of distraction. In the meantime, Peter Obi, reacting to the development, said the conviction of Doyin Okupe for money laundering will not demoralize his bid to become president because he believes in the rule of law. Let's take a reaction from Fisayo Sombo, who wrote, thoroughly impressed with Doyin Okupe's resignation as DG of Labour Party's presidential campaign team. In this part of the world where voluntary resignations are like rains in the desert, a huge bonus point for Peter Obi and the Labour Party. This is how to inspire hope. In the meantime, the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi took his campaign to Akwa Ibom, where he declared that the era of unfulfilled promises will be over if he's elected president next year. He reiterated his promise to improve security and unite Nigeria.
Next year, election will not be by tribe. Let nobody tell you about tribe. No tribe buys bread cheaper. Not by joy. No tribe buys bread cheaper. Have you seen the tribe buy bread cheaper? Have you seen the tribe buy bread cheaper? Next year's election, we want people with character. People where if they say they can fight corruption, they fight corruption.
You see, the presidential candidates, Dr. Abati, as well as Tinubu, they both say they want to unite Nigeria, and all of this rhetoric should stop, tribalism and all whatnot. Dr. Abati, really quickly, so we can take our last...
the significance of that campaign, interestingly, both of them,
yes,
Asiwaju and
Peter Obi
and Mr. Obi, they went to my to my zone, but quickly. The significance of this is that Mr. Peter Obi, is showing confidence. Yeah. He seems to have learnt a lot on the stump. I just read a piece by Etimetum, my colleague Etimetum, titled Peter Obi in Akwa Ibom. It seemed to have been a very excellent outing for him. More instructively, because he was talking to his wife's people. His wife, Mrs. Margaret Obi, is from Akwa Ibom. And the high point of that campaign was when the woman took the microphone and campaigned in a BBO and told the people that Mr. Obi is Ukot. Ukot means he's your in-law. So it was a good outing. But more importantly, he made the points that he has also made, that he wants to destroy the structure of Nigeria the way it is, which is a structure that has produced 20 million children out of school, that has produced 133 million poor people, and that he wants to move Nigeria forward and unite the country and bring change. So it's good to hear that, but it was very colorful because he was talking to his in-laws.
I loved it. Ayo, quickly.
Absolutely. I'm just going to talk about the structure thing. Yeah. I mean, he's been criticized by his opponents that he lacks structure. Hence, his chances at the polls are next to nothing. However, he spoke directly to this and said that actually is that structure he wants to destroy. And just talking about a new Nigeria on which a number of young people have bought into and seen him, like we said yesterday, as a deviation from the old to the new. Excellent outing in Akwa Ibom.
Well said, both of you. Well, thank you both for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.